All right, I want everybody to, you can, if you're right-handed or left-handed, doesn't matter. Ooh, stretch a little bit, go for it. I'd like you to balance on one foot for me, please. Oh, come on. Look at that. I see some people going, I don't think I can do that. My daughter at 4 just discovered how to do it. It's pretty cool. Good. So you're balancing.
I like to balance.
How many of you are having a hard time staying balanced?
Yes.
How many of you agree it takes core strength? Yeah. How many of you, it was like, I did not want to exercise today? Yeah. All right, awesome. Just turn around one time, do a complete spin. You don't have to keep your foot up, and then you can just sit down. I just did that for fun to see if you listen, but I appreciate it. Really today, well, first of all, you guys are amazing, and I really think that after the 3 of you spoke, and I hang out with you guys more and more, should I go for my PMP? Like, do I have to go back to school and get a PM? I don't think I would, no. Yeah. It all starts with me. Get out there and do it. I'm here, surprise, surprise, to talk to you today about balance. Okay? So you guys get to be the great project managers that you are. And me not being a project manager, I realize the importance of all the skills that you bring forth. So I want to talk about balance being the essential PM skill. Okay? Now, we know how hard it must be for elephants to balance on that ball. A lot of you today said, I can't even balance on my own one foot. I know I couldn't do it, that's why I didn't try. I try not to wear heels that often. So balancing is key, and why is it key? Because as project managers, what do? It's essential that we are not only leading projects and leading teams, but we're part of teams, right? So either way, whether you're the one standing up in front of the group, like these amazing people just did, or you're the one receiving the message, you want to make sure that you have the critical balance capability. I had a really great friend that brought me this article from projectmanagers.com. I thought it was an amazing visual, okay? I'm going to show it to you twice today. The first time, whichever screen you can take a look at, you can see that some of the top 10 PM skills they talk about are leadership. We've touched upon leadership. You have, I'm sure, at this stage in your career. Communication, right? Scheduling. We all know we have to definitely have a schedule. Risk management. How many of us love the risk management part, right? A lot of cringing there. Cost management. I mean, you have to be able to balance a budget, right? That's another element. Negotiating, critical thinking, and you see the list on and on, right? So these are 10 critical PM skills. You know that. You're in the business, right? But how do we balance that? Why is that critical and why is that important? So I heard talking today the trifecta, the quality, the schedule, the cost, being a key part of that, right? So if we're going to go ahead and have a project that we're assigned or on an assignment ourselves, we want to make sure that we have the quality down, right? We're talking about the project scope here, right? Am I using the right words? I pray I am. Am I? Okay, cool. That we have the schedule down, feeling special, the cost down. But not just keeping that balance is important. We have to think about who our stakeholders are. We have to think about how we're going to balance those personalities. How many times do you have different personalities in that group that you are working with? You touched upon that. One of the critical things, one of the talks that I do a lot, and you may have been in one of them, are on emotional intelligence, right? I did this talk on EI versus IQ. How a lot of organizations and companies now are not just focusing on IQ, but emotional intelligence skills. Things like self-awareness, we touched upon that, the U factor. Social awareness. Are you aware of who's in your group or whose group you're in and how everybody is showing up? What are their strengths, right? More importantly, what areas do they need growth in? Because by being aware of that, then you get the opportunity to now avoid the areas that are detrimental and build upon the areas that will work, okay? We have social awareness there. We also have self-management. A lot of people forget that one. How do we manage ourselves in a situation? If we know we're in a room of people, I heard these 3 speakers talking about that already. If you're delivering a project and you're speaking into it, are you aware of who has which strengths? Who can bring what to the table? You don't want to have a team of 10 people, right? And say 8 of them are doing the communicating and 2 of them are doing everything else. Would you agree? You have to create that balance, and that's critical and essential. Now, a lot of times when we talk about balance, you may think about balancing on one foot. I just kind of threw that in there because a lot of you seem like you're getting tired from that food coma. But we also think about work-life balance, right? Whenever I used to think about balance, I used to think, how am I going to balance my family? How am I going to balance my hobbies or the things that I'm passionate about? Because we don't always, our jobs are not always what we're passionate about. Would you agree? We have a lot of different passions, and in this day and age, a lot of people have more than just one, I like to call them gigs, right? You're doing your job, you're managing a project managing a whole different thing at work, and you might even be doing it for your kid's school, right? It could be a lot of different areas. So we're talking about the work-life balance there as well. And then we talk about the talent triangle. Today, globally, we know that the technical skills are not enough anymore. They're just not. So once upon a time, your technical skills got you what you needed and where you needed to go. Is that happening today? Emotional intelligence is a big critical part. You know, Zuckerberg himself said when he was being interviewed that he no longer looks at the people's IQs and what just their talents are. He looks at their EI. He looks at their emotional intelligence, their ability to be flexible, their ability to listen actively, their ability to transform and be able to balance that change, because it's constantly changing, right? So that's pretty critical. So we know that the leadership, we know that strategic and business intelligence is quite important. How many would you agree with that? So I know all of you have seen this talent triangle. I learned today that that's a part of project managers in your world, right? The areas that you get to, again, identify, please, the areas that you get to work on, not just focusing on the areas that you're great in, okay? Because if we work on the areas that we need to grow in, we may not be able to always grow in those areas. I always say right now that I may not, you know, my weakness can be in, and this is why I have project managers that I work with, I don't like putting an outline and, oh my God, I can't do it. I think huge and fuzzy, and I see Aisha back there nodding her head and cracking up at me, thank you. Because I need those kind of brains to say, Sonal, that's a great idea. We love the idea generation that's happening in this team. Who are the ones that are going to be able to take those and now create what you need to create, the balance you need to create to get that project done, right? So be mindful of that. Sense of humor. So one of the top 10 skills they had in that article was sense of humor, and all the other ones were fantastic. You guys know it. You guys have probably breathed it, dream it, been there, done that. Whether you're PMP certified or not, you're down that road. But the sense of humor really stuck out to me. I feel with balance, that's critical. Because with the sense of balance, with the sense of humor, that helps to create a balance in what you can often call a structured environment. When you have structure, you have a lot more tension sometimes, right? Throw in some humor, lighten it up, because when you get the opportunity to do that, that's when you'll bring balance back into the team. Ideas kind of get accepted a little bit more, they flow. How many times do you experience people a little bit more willing to share, right? Not feeling so maybe boxed in or intimidated. So sense of humor is awesome, right? Now I'm not telling you to be inappropriate, right? But really bringing that lightness. You're leading a team, I would encourage you to do that. And as Rep said earlier, celebrate the people. But that comes in with sense of humor, letting them know that we're all people. This job is critical and it needs to get done. This task needs to get done. But we are working together to get that done, okay? And we're celebrating that. Here's that list again. I'd like you to take a look at that for a minute, whichever screen that you have greater access to. I really want you to look at those 10 and your homework. I know you don't plan on ever coming to something in the evening and having homework. I'll call it your think work. I would love for you to pick one quality on that list right now, if you would please. And your takeaway is to say, there is one. If there's more than one, that's awesome, that's fine. Pick one on that list of 10 that you want to leave here with to improve. Challenge yourself, stretch yourself. Get into that zone of discomfort that says, this is a space I'm working either at work or wherever you're doing that project. And I need to stretch a little bit. I need to improve this area. So please, at this moment, if you can, if you have a pen, if you don't, mentally just write it down in your brain. Which one of those are you choosing to walk away with today to improve? Okay? Everybody got one? Awesome. So then, I want to talk about, for those of you who have or have not had exposure, there's so many tools out there. I'm going to end and leave you today with, since you've been patient and sitting and listening to us, walk away with some tools. The how part, the mechanism, right? Self-awareness, a big part of emotional intelligence, is awesome, but it has no value if you're not in action. Agree or disagree? Right? Yeah. How many of you know people in your space, in your life, at play or in person or at work, that I know, this is great, and then you see them walk away, they never do anything about it? Raise your hand if you have someone in your life who does that. Yeah. So, self-awareness, social awareness, awesome stuff. But if you don't leave here today with action, it's going to have no value, right? Here are a few things that you can use. If you want, feel free to email me if you need my card before I leave. I have access, or I can direct you to where you can get access to some of these. Don't limit yourself to these. There's a lot of great stuff out there. I did put DISC up there, I know that. Personality poker. For those of you who have been in some of my sessions, I do personality poker. And what that allows you to do is identify your strengths. I love that one. And it's fun. And it can be humorous too, just depends on how you approach it, right? And even better, when you play personality poker, you get to get other people on your team give you a card on how they perceive you. That's powerful. Because you could say, hey, I show up as a leader, and they can give you a card that says, no you don't. No you don't. I'm sorry, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to follow you, right? So it's really an awesome place to be. If you want, you can go to personalitypoker.com, and you can even play it online. Pretty cool. EQI, I just took that emotional quotient inventory assessment myself. Pretty awesome, pretty accurate. And it gives you a 10-page report. I have access to that as well. That allows you to know where your areas of growth need to be, as well as your areas of strength compared to other leaders out there in the C-level suite. And then it gives you a coaching guide. Like, I know what areas I need to develop in, but knowing it has no value. Now I see a paragraph that says this is how I can go about doing it. The Myers-Briggs type indicator. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of or taken that. Yeah, I love that. I got certified that years ago. And whenever I am in a room now, because I am aware, that's part of social awareness, I can look at someone and say, you know what, that person's kind of introverted. Oh, that person's definitely an S, not an N. That means they need a list. Or that person's looking at someone going, that's great, get to the point, right? And I can get that now. And so when I deliver to that person, I get right to the point. When I deliver to a person who says, I don't quite understand, I need details, I'm aware of that now, right? So I'm more powerful, more productive. Time is money, right? And the Strength Finder. You've taken that one before as well. DISC can go up there. There's so many great tools. Be mindful of your tools. Be accountable, okay? Know how you're showing up. Again, find the balance in your life, not just at work, but at play, as well as with your family. But most importantly, it all starts with you. Be accountable of how you show up and how you lead. More importantly, how you are present, okay? Again, I'm Sonal Sheth-Zawari. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you need to contact me, I have my business cards with me as well. Thank you for having me.